As a knitter, it's inevitable that eventually you're going to have to figure out how to join the yarn that just ran out to a new ball of yarn. There are several ways of doing them. I'm going to show you one technique called a Russian join. In order to do a Russian join, you're going to need a yarn needle. Now there's several different kinds. These are probably the ones you see traditionally, the plastic one and the metal one, sometimes bent, sometimes not. And then this is a slightly smaller one, often called a tapestry needle. Now, I prefer to use the smaller one, especially with using this yarn. As you can see, the yarn isn't really all that thick. So, I've done this sample here, and I've done several Russian joins in it already to show you what the finished product will look like. One of them is right down here. Then there's the one where the color changes are, and there's another one up here. Now you can't see them from the front, but there is evidence of joins in the back where you see the little frayed ends of yarn sticking up. Like I said, really can't tell from the front. So in order to do a Russian join, you will take at the end of your old yarn, and you want at least 4 inches to work with. Anything less than that becomes a little cumbersome. You're going to thread the yarn onto your needle, and an easy way to do that is to fold the yarn over the needle and pinch it. Remove the needle, and then with the nub that's left there, just wiggle the eye of the needle onto it and pull it through. Then you're going to turn the needle, and you're going to run it up the center of your yarn right through the twist. Sometimes you'll have more than one pile. You just want to get it so that the yarn needle is directly into the center. And you'll run that in there for about 2 inches. Okay, so as you can see, the needle is completely covered by the yarn. There's a loop at the end here. We want to keep that loop while pulling the yarn off the needle. So I'm going to pull the yarn, which is going to drag this end down into itself while keeping the loop at the end. It's easier than it looks. Okay, that's good. We still have a loop there. Alright. Then take your new yarn and again thread it onto the needle. Then thread the new yarn through the loop of the old yarn, like so. Again, turn the needle and thread it down the center of the new yarn. Sometimes it will get off a little bit and you won't quite get it through the exact center. You'll be able to tell when you pull it through when it doesn't. That looks so wonky. It's a better looking join if you get it right square through the middle. Okay, so run that through the center, and again you're going to pull the needle off. This time I don't have to be so careful with this loop here. In fact, I'm just going to let it drag all the way up to the end where the other loop is from the old yarn, and then pull the needle off. Then grab the yarn, both the old and the new, and pull them tight. As you can see, I'm putting a lot of pressure on that, and I'm pulling and pulling, and it is not going to come apart. Then you just knit as normal. Now sometimes there's bigger little ends of yarn sticking up here, and I say just leave those because it actually gives you something to work with. If when you're knitting that happens to fall into the front of your work, you can just poke it through to the back. So I'll go ahead and knit that up. Now the first one wasn't part of the join, but when you hit that join, see that came up to the front, and I will have to work that back to the back area there. So you just kind of pull on it a little bit usually. I'll pull it out. There you go. Now that'll be in the back. Okay. So when you knit that join, you want to knit it a little bit tighter than you might normally knit, so that you're reducing as much of that bulk as you can. And good, that one didn't pop out. Okay, just go to the end here, and we'll see what we got. So that's your Russian join. And as you can see, or not see, it is invisible. There's just a little bit of bulk created there. And normally you'll have, it's best actually to have these little doodads sticking out here, because then you'll be assured that it's not going to pop through to the front. But that's how to do a Russian join.